Okay, guys, I want to make a series of videos regarding my view of the market. Um, ICT is a big influence in my trading and strategy. Um, I'm hesitant to say that, but only because I think people mistake his teachings and okay, he overcomplicates what's going on there, and regardless, let me get into a little bit of an explanation about some ICT concepts that I apply on a daily basis in my trading. The first one that I want to talk about is regular trading hours. You can break it down from Asia. Does it start at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m.? Does it end at 10 p.m. or 2 a.m.? London, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. And then, oh, well, pre market New York. Look, we're throwing all of that out of the window right now because New York session runs the financial markets. Everything else, and it's my opinion, everything that I'm saying here is my opinion. But I have sat for hours on bar replay on a 15-minute chart, specifically watching regular trading hours. So, to me, regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. New York local time till 4:15 p.m. New York local time. So, that said, those particular times are the set points. I know there is some discussion around is it 4 p.m. Except, look, let's just rewind. Regular trading hours 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. In order to make the indicator work the way I want it to work, I have to set it at 4:15. So, we're going to talk about an indicator right here. It is an indicator that I did not make. However, I use it on my charts every single day. And I think that for a beginner or for someone who is relatively new to trading, looking to find their bearings, this is where you start. Because this gives you an overview of the price action in New York. We're not talking about New York AM, New York lunch, New York PM. Look, we're talking about New York as a whole. And then we can deep dive into the intricacies of 9:30, 9:45, 9:50, 10:10, 11:45, all of those things. This thing has so many levels. It has so many layers of the onion to be peeled and pulled and objectified and analyzed in all the different ways. But if I would have someone tell me in the beginning, pay attention to regular trading hours. Now, I'm not advocating to turn your chart on regular trading hours and ignore Asia, London, electronic trading hours price action because that doesn't make any sense either. But I am telling you to watch the levels, specific levels, regular trading hours, high, low, and EQ. If you're not familiar with EQ is the midpoint between the high and the low of that particular session. So on my chart here, what we're looking at is 20 days of price action. So let's go ahead and pull the indicator up. This is an indicator by Trading for Opportunity. It's called ICT, kill zones and pivots. When I said 20 sessions, that's what we're looking at here. 20 sessions, because it's basically a month. 5 sessions per week, 4 weeks in a month. It's around about a month, give or take. Okay. Time frame limit 30 minutes. I'm a little torn. Uh, Regardless, leave it at 30 minutes for now. America, New York, always. Labels tiny. I don't care. I don't look at the labels. Text, whatever. Drawing cutoff times. Look, for now, New York session. When you first get this indicator, it's going to say New York AM. Uncheck everything. Check the New York AM. Change it to the New York session from 9:30 to 6:15. Right now I have it set as gray because I like to leave these on in the background, but let's make them stand out a little bit for this exercise. So let's go with the yellow, and let's pull the opacity up to where we can see that. These settings are important because it changes the length. This is how I have mine set up. I don't want to take the time to go through each one, but take a screenshot here if you need to, or just memorize what's checked and what's not. Everything else I've got off because I'm about keeping it simple. And this regular trading hours for me is keeping it simple. It gives me a high level perspective of the market, what's happened the day before, and what am I looking for going forward. And there's some phenomena that I think are quite interesting, and I think you'll see it too. Um, and I think it makes sense for us to jump into it. So let's go back as far as we can in this 20-day overview, and let's start our bar replay, and let's do that on the 15-minute chart. So we'll go back to here. So we're going to get another 20 days, but let's focus on what's going on right here in the last couple of days. So if we look at this day here, so this will be the low of the day. Let's go ahead and mark that out. The low of the day. The high of the day. Now, when I say day, I mean New York. The high of New York session. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So you'd notice that there's a high made in Asia, which is the next trading day, regardless. But there is a low that was made earlier in the day, but it wasn't made during New York. So those things are hard to articulate, but before we're finished here, I think you're going to understand what I'm talking about and why I'm saying the things I'm saying. So we look at this day, and as we're going into the day that proceeds, do we seriously have ads on right now? We're coming into the next day at 9:30. We're coming into a Wednesday morning at 9:30. We're opened outside and above prior day regular trading hour price action. It's a very key point. Like, get your notebook out. And I did not practice this before we started. But when price action opens above, there's two things that are going to happen, obviously. It's either going to come back and rebalance this EQ in a big way, or it's going to continue like a rocket ship. Because open outside above is a fairly rare condition. Usually, price is back within the prior state range. Otherwise, the market would basically be a runaway train. And it's not. The market seeks to preserve itself, like we've talked about before. The market seeks to preserve price action for the next day, for the fees, the commissions, the jobs, all the things that make this market work. So let's just put this on 3x, and let's just take a few minutes and see what happens here. So as the day opened, price immediately rushed back into the range, made a low, and let's see where we are in time. Okay, that's the end of the day there for that Wednesday price action. Notice we've still got that EQ unbalanced. We've got another EQ here that's been created on that Wednesday price action. So let's keep watching. So this is Asia overnight, London. Ooh, not quite get the EQ balance, but it's close. Is it close enough for hands grenades? Let's see. Definitely rebalanced the prior day here. There it is. There's the rebalance of this EQ. Boom. Notice the rebalance of this EQ happened way up here. This EQ got rebalanced fairly quickly. This was a close rebalance, but let's do a little bit more watching because I think this is important. And a lot of people, when I'm talking, I'm like, oh, check that EQ out. It didn't get rebalanced. Nobody really knows what I'm talking about. Let's go 5x. Because these lines represent the day before. And notice how price will just go for those almost to the tick. What's going on right here? Do we have an unbalanced EQ? Here? Taking out lots of trend line liquidity. You can say that for sure. Wham. All those lows getting smashed. I wouldn't be surprised if the thing dies all the way to here. It gives you kind of a point of reference where the market is seeking. A lot of times price is running away and you're like, why? Where in the hell is it going? Mm-hmm. It's leaving and it's headed somewhere else. Rebalance EQ, job done. Check out this liquidity, job done. But in the process of doing that job, look what was left. Bam. EQ got ran off and left. So it holds day price action was abandoned quickly. I'm going to try to keep this relatively short. What am I already at 14 minutes? Wow. That EQ's getting rebalanced. And if you've watched any of my other videos, there was some confusion about what I was talking about. But this is what I'm talking about. These EQs, the RTH EQs that I'm tracking, kind of real high level. I'm not sitting here studying this, trying to catch every wiggle. This is high level trading. You couldn't trade a micro like this. But if you see price moving and you're like, where's it going? What's it seeking? Look for the EQs. Look for the high, low, EQ sequence. There's a lot of sequences that happen. You'll break the low and then you'll go back to EQ. It's if you're Asia trader, London trader, you're going to be seeing these levels. You need these levels on your chart. You need these levels on your chart. Let's see how long it takes for this EQ to get rebalanced. Right here. See, it just balanced that EQ. Boom. Notice how the price action just hovered around the middle. Oh, takes out a low. Boom, back to EQ. Let's look at that one more time. Let's look at that one more time before we get into the goods here. Look at that. Wow. So, price coming out of a Wednesday. Yeah, let's find where the end of the day is. Let's go ahead and throw a vertical line at the close of regular trading hours. Boom. So this price action right here. Let me do one other thing. It'll help you visualize this. Boom. See that? Those are the boxes representing the price action. These lines are extensions of those lines. And then you have the middle of that. So this is Asia, London price action coming back to the EQ. Here's New York, all around the EQ of the prior day. Here's the low. Here's Asia back to the EQ, just hovering, consolidating around that equilibrium. But look what's above. An equilibrium that was never rebalanced. I remember this day, Rena and I were talking about it. It was a news day, and I was like, look at that EQ right there. That's what I like to do when I'm like, hey, these are my eyes on the chart right now. If we've got a news event, if we've got something that's happening, that's when these things get dealt with. Boom. Precision. Do this, folks. I'm telling you. Get on the 15-minute chart and set this not on 5x, set it on 1x. Eat breakfast. Read the paper. Watch this stuff, because you're gonna see things like that. You're like, what the fuck? Yes, I'm telling you, you're gonna be able to see things that you didn't see before. And this is the beginning of how I develop my bias for the day, where I look at targets. Oh, where's it going? EQ. High, low. See, that's what I call an EQ rebalance. I mean, it's not just going to go tag the EQ and turn right around. Sometimes it does, but not when you've got a big inefficiency over here. It's working on slowly rebalancing that efficiency, which is going to be the next video. For me, this is the next stage of my analysis on a high level, is Nephew Sam. Fair value gaps. New week opening gaps. I track it by just tracking the 1800 price with the key levels. that I made, these key levels that I keep my eye on every day. So I'm tracking key levels, fair value gaps, and regular trading hours, high, low, and equilibrium. Everything else you start to see, everything else you start to understand about the market on a level where you're like, okay, I don't have to have all of my levels on every day. I don't have to have previous day, previous week, previous month, week open, month open, Asia open, London open, 9 a.m., New York p.m. Look, man, I can't even see anymore. Where am I? I need my chart clean. You start to see these things. You sit down in the morning, you turn these things on one at a time and turn them off. You know, like, oh, price is going where? Price is going to the equilibrium. Period. You know, now where in the meantime, what's it going to do? It's going to take out Asia high, Asia low, London low, previous week EQs. These are things we can get into as we get deeper into the situation, into each day and how they operate. But if you don't have, I'll say it one more time, regular trading hours, high, low, EQ, you're lost. Because for me, it's the bellwether of it's the 15-minute chart, the 30-minute chart. Nobody talks about the 30-minute chart either because it's either 1 hour or 15 minutes. Well, if you put it on the 30-minute chart, you see the 9:30 open candle. It reduces clutter for you. So, week open, month open, quarter, these are important. These are important, you know. And I do turn them on in the mornings. I'll sit down and kind of get my bearings. I don't necessarily turn on Asia, London. I can see those things. I can see them based on my experience on the charts. My experience on the charts, I can see those things. So, but definitely midnight open 1800 every day. I have those on every day, all day. Um, ICT kill zones and pivots. I keep these things tuned down quite a bit. I usually put it on white and 37. I don't know why, but that way it's somewhat kind of in the background. Kind of in the background. I'll be having an eye on it. What's going on when I'm getting in? I'm looking at the trading day. I see. Okay, prior to EQ's already been balanced. Let's go look at today. Let's go look at right now. Tough day today in New York, man. A lot of guys were looking for previous day high to be taken, me included. I was trying to short earlier because I saw a fair value gap up here, an imbalance. Yeah, right here. These gaps get filled, folks. So if we look at kind of right now, price action this morning coming into New York open, we're back at EQ, we're going higher. So usually when you're going higher, you're looking for previous day high to be rated. For some reason I had it on my mind here. Okay, we're looking at this fair value gap to get rebalanced. We'll just put this on a little bit like 3x on the 15-minute chart. And watch all these gaps disappear and we start to leave bullish gaps. So New York made a lower high. Here's New York's current low in a session. Not a very big day in New York today. Let's get on. So, okay, so we're notice that as New York closed on an inside day, Asia takes us straight back to the EQ of the New York range. Notice that the magnet effect as well on these 15-minute candles. We get our 1800 open, we're going straight to EQ. We're bouncing off of EQ, coming back to rebalance this fair value gap. Boom, we're going back to EQ. Boom, right back to EQ. Higher, higher. Hanging around midpoint. We're hanging around the midpoint of the prior day. You know, not a lot of action happening right now. It's 1 a.m. I need to wrap this up, but I wanted to do this video as part of this ICT Explain series that I want to do. And here's the starting point. If you like the way that I explain, the way that I see the market, this is just kind of scratching the surface, and I'll redo this. I know this is just going to be a one take, one shot. I'm not going to edit this. I don't have time to deal with that, but go grab this indicator, ICT kill zones and pivots, TFO. Go back to the beginning, save screenshots, try to line out on what's going on here, and like and subscribe on the video, comment, ask questions, send me messages. You can find me on X, you can find me in Discord. Got a lot of things to talk about here, and this is therapeutic for me. I appreciate your time. I hope to see you, talk to you soon. Take care.